Hey friends, what is up and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title of today's video, I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about my monthly favorites for October. Now, I'm going to preface this video with the fact that I got 2 whole hours of sleep last night. It was really worth it, but I went to bed I think at like 8 o'clock in the morning and got back up at 10. I'm really sleepy, but I did want to sit down and film today. I had like an internal struggle with wanting to just stay in bed and call it quits for the week, but I thought I would sit down and have this little chat with you guys about all of the things that I have been loving this month. A few of these I got a couple of months ago, but I've been really utilizing in the last month. I am also going to talk about my favorite read of the month because, as you guys know, I've been doing weekly check-ins for the books that I've read as opposed to doing like a full wrap up at the end of the month. If you want to see the last one I uploaded, I'll put it in the card up here for you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is going to be pretty much all over the place. I'm going to include a lot of different things. First thing that I want to talk about is my favorite read of the month, and that would be The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I read this. This is over 600 pages, and I read it in 2 days. I think overall, if you count the actual time that I was reading it, it took me about 10 hours. I inhaled this book. I just finished the second one. It's just such a great series. It basically follows our main character, Davian, and he is a mage. He's supposed to be a mage per se, and he goes to this school, and what they do is they take these tests with this substance they call essence, and then they are able to become basically what is called the gifted, and if they are not able to do that, they are turned into something that is called a shadow. And Davian is approached one night on the eve before he's supposed to take his test because he has no powers, and a gentleman comes to him and says, I have this little box, it's like a tiny little gold box, and he says, take this with you and go north, and when you get to where you're supposed to be, the box will kind of let you know. Like, you'll know that you've hit your location. And that is because Davian is actually what they call an augur, which is basically an enemy of the entire kingdom that they live in, because they basically started a war way before Davian was even born. So there's a lot of like backlash from that, which is part of the reason why the gifteds follow something called the tenets, and they're only able to do certain things. And this book is all encompassing, like the first 2 books. The third one comes out soon, and I do actually have it on the way from Orbit already, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But I read both of these in 2 weeks, like 2 weekends. I read both of them. And the second one's even bigger. The second one's like 700 and some pages. But this series is truly magnificent. It has a lot of really good fantasy elements, minus romance. There's no romance really in here. There's a little bit in the second one, but not really. There's no like sex or anything like that in this one. It's really about the characters, and overall, I think I mentioned this in my vlog that I uploaded on Tuesday. I'll also list that in the cards. This series is one of the most well-rounded series that I've read. If you guys follow me for any period of time, you'll know that my favorite is characters. I really love people and talking to people and like interacting, and I think that's why I'm so drawn to characters and like their interactions with each other. And I think that this series doesn't necessarily do characters in that kind of way that I love, but it's so well-rounded with everything that it does. It's truly just a fantastic series, and it's a high fantasy series, but it's so easy to read. Like, you can really blow through this book. So if you're looking for a good fantasy series, I would check this one out. So the next things I want to talk about are actually the shows that I have enjoyed. And the first one that I want to talk about is One Strange Rock. I actually ended up binging it. Really, like, I binged it in like a night. I absolutely loved it. It is, if you've seen Cosmos, which is one of my favorite shows of all time, it's similar to that. It is a science show. It is actually hosted by Will Smith. I don't want to say host, because when I think host, I think of like a late night TV show. But it is hosted by Will Smith, and it features a bunch of different astronauts, and they sort of put into perspective how finite and infinite at the same time the world is, and our universe, and like how well protected we are within our planet, and kind of like from the sun's rays, and you know, just when it comes to producing oxygen and things like that. And it was definitely one of those shows, as I was watching, that gave me a little bit of anxiety. I'm really tuned into, I don't know, like just our world in general and kind of what we're doing to the world, like the deforestation and all the fires and things that are happening, and just like coal production and just what we're doing to our actual environment. I'm really tuned into that. So watching it, it really made me pretty anxious because, you know, there's a bit of a countdown on what we're going to do for our atmosphere. And so it really put everything even further into perspective. So it really kind of like jumbled me a little bit, but it is really good. If you were a fan of Cosmos, it's not on Netflix anymore, but One Strange Rock is. And I think that it does it maybe even better. I think because it's filmed very differently and there's so many like other characters within the story as Will is telling it, it just really appealed to me. And if you like science stuff and you liked Cosmos, I think that you'd really like this. The next show that I want to talk about is a show called Daybreak, and I can't remember the character, the like main character's name. I remember the girl that he's like pining after, and her name is Sam Dean, and the reason why I remember that is because that Sam and Dean are the two main characters from Supernatural, and I'm pretty sure the boy, the main character, was in Supernatural at one point. I could be wrong about that, but I really like the show. Basically, there is a nuclear war that happens, and all of the adults following this nuclear war are basically turned into zombies. Like they will eat you, but they basically walk around and just say the last couple of things they said before or during, you know, what was happening. The last thing they remember saying. Very funny. So the show is post-apocalyptic. It is a little bit of zombie, but I think it's less zombie and more just hilarity. This show is so funny. If you are sensitive, I don't know if you'd like this. There are a couple of jokes and a couple of comments throughout the show that I feel like some people might really get offended about, but that kind of shit doesn't bug me. So I really, really enjoyed it. It was definitely one of my favorite shows of the month. I watched it in one day. I got a lot of comments from you guys on Twitter and stuff, which, sorry, I haven't really been on Twitter. I just don't really enjoy it. But when I did post about it, a lot of people were like, yeah, I binged it in one day too. It was super good. So if you like kind of campy, funny zombie stuff, this is definitely a show to watch. And of course, I had to mention my favorite video game of the month. And if you follow me anywhere, you will know that is Outer Worlds. The first thing I'm going to say about Outer Worlds that I thought was really cool outside of the general storyline, that I think would appeal to a lot of people, there's actually an ace character within this story. I'm not going to say who it is, but I thought that was really cool. The developers who worked on Fallout worked on this game, and I'm not really sure which Fallout game they worked on. I thought it was New Vegas, but I think I'm incorrect in thinking that. But it has a lot of that Fallout feel. Like you're able to stop time, essentially how you do in all the Fallout games. But it is more, I think, a perfect blend of BioShock in the sense that it can be pretty creepy, as well as just the Fallout games in general. It is a science fiction based game. You are approached by a man called Phineas, and he wakes you up and tells you that he basically needs you to go do all this shit for him. And the game is really one of those kinds of games, like a lot of side quests, a lot of like it kind of breaks the third wall within itself at one point in time when you're doing certain tasks, and your character can respond with, oh wait, let me know, you need me to go do 7 other things before I can do the one thing for you. And that's really the type of game it is. So if you like explorative games, if you like really beautiful games, because this game is very vibrant and very beautiful, and the music is really, really good as well. And then the story is really interesting because it's one of those games where your actions can really change how the story unfolds. So if you choose to be, I think there's like 3 or 4 paths you can choose. You can choose to be very like empathetic and, you know, work with people. You can choose to be very like cruel. And I think it's called like, I don't know, it's just like called a dictator basically. Or you can choose to basically be a psychopath. So as you are answering like normal dialogue stuff, it's very choose your, you know, dialogue discussion, kind of like how the Fallout games are, or even like Skyrim. But within this, they like the options are so obviously like, the fighting one, like the psychopath one, is like, I will answer you with violence. Like, I'm going to fucking kill you. And it's just such a fun game. I'm very, very close to beating it. I think that's what I'm going to do with the rest of today. I just really want to get down to the nitty gritty and get it finished. I think I have like a couple quests left, like the main quest. And of course, between that, there's going to be like 15 other quests within it. But it was really fun. I will say, however, it is pretty short. So Fallout, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, like those kinds of games. Obviously, Elder Scrolls is an MMO, but those like really open world games tend to be a lot longer. And I've played about 30 hours of the game, and I am about to beat it. When you first start the game, it seems like you can really go for forever. But at a certain point, you become so powerful that you just start being able to take care of things and killing people pretty easily, killing enemies and stuff, so the game does go by a lot quicker. I do like the secretiveness of the game as well. It doesn't really lay everything out for you. The one downside to this game, I will say though, is the map. I don't really appreciate the map. I am glad that there is a fast travel system within this game. Obviously, you're traveling from planet to planet, but within each planet, there is a fast travel system, and I appreciate that. But the map on this game is absolute bullshit. Like, it's not helpful. And there are markers that you can place like within the world so you can actually see where you're going, like a little marker, kind of like, once again, similar to Skyrim, that it pops up so you know kind of where you're going, and it does tell you how many meters away from it you are. But I found sometimes that not the most helpful to me, and I think, I don't know if you can turn it off or not, but, and just really like submerge yourself in the story. But overall, I loved this game, and I really, really can't wait to beat it later on this afternoon. Now, the last two things that I have are more, I would say, like lifestyle favorites. Definitely things that over the month have brought me like a lot of comfort. The first thing that I want to talk about is The Giver. It's called Applejack Lotion. This is by the Macbeth. We got this, I think, in the Unplugged book box. And I will say, you guys, when I smell this, like, I love breakfast food. Breakfast food, aside from like Italian food, is my favorite food. Like, any kind of breakfast food is my favorite. And this smells like Apple Jacks. Like, it's called Applejack. And that's exactly what it smells like. It is so delicious. My favorite thing about this though is I have tattoos and stuff, and I like to basically, the showers that I take are literally like boiling. So my skin's always dry. And so I do put on a lot of lotion, like, you know, before I go to bed or when I get up in the morning after a shower, whatever it may be. But this lotion, you can't feel it on your skin, and it's been a while since I found a lotion like that, because I hate the feeling of climbing into bed and like wanting to snuggle down and being basically stuck like to your sheets. I absolutely fucking hate that feeling, and this lotion does not make me feel like that. I would recommend this brand. You can find them on Instagram. If you go on Instagram, they do like lotions and like I think like scrubs or soaps and things like that, but it seems to be really natural ingredients as well. And I knew I was gonna like this when I saw that it had almond oil in it. Almond oil is my favorite kind of like, I don't know, like skin softening ingredient. So if you're interested, I would check them out. The last two things that I want to talk about. The next thing is my Google Home. Your girl got a Google Home. So I have been loving this. I got this from Spotify. Spotify did a thing where you could basically, if you were a Spotify premium member, which I am, because if you guys know me, I have to have music on pretty much at all points in time. When I was younger, I wanted to be in music in some sort of way, not in a creative way, but more in like a managerial kind of way. So I love music. I love this thing. This is really cool because I can take it into my bathroom when I shower, if I'm listening to a podcast, if I'm watching like a YouTube video, if I'm listening to an audiobook. It's really nice to be able to play it from this and not my phone. Say if I'm listening to something while I'm like editing a video, because I don't really get jarred by the sound of my own voice, but it is nice to have some sort of like background noise while I'm doing it. And this is perfect for me. And like I said, it's really compact. I got the mini, and you can basically put it anywhere. Like, you could take this with you if you really wanted to. So I absolutely love this, and I'm really, really glad that I ended up getting it. Now, the last thing that I have to talk about is the sweater that you guys have seen me in almost every single day this past like couple of weeks. I actually got this sweater. It was a suicide prevention sweater. And you can kind of tell just by reading the front of it, but it was a really random purchase. I don't really remember the name of the company or like who created it. If I can find it, I will link it down below right at the top of my down bar, because some people have asked me about this. I didn't really want to talk about it because it's not around anymore. It was a very limited run, but it's just a red sweater and it says, "You will get through it all." And honestly, if that isn't my motto, I don't know what is. You guys know I have been living in sweaters recently. Like, autumn came and pretty much went here in Columbus. It went from like autumn straight to winter very quickly. And I'm such a cold person. Like, my favorite time of the day is like when I get home and I can put on a sweater and put on like some leggings and just like climb into bed and bundle up in my blankets and just like cuddle up and watch something or play a game or whatever it is. That's my favorite time. And the inside of this sweater is single-handedly the softest thing that I have ever felt in my life. I remember when I got it and I like showed my roommate and was like, feel this, like feel the inside of this sweater. It's heavenly, and I love like super soft things. And like I said, I like being really cuddled up and really warm, and that's like my happy place. Like my mind's always going 1,000 miles an hour, but to just be able to be like cozy and cuddly, like I get why people like that. That is my favorite. And it's cuffing season, unfortunately, and your girl's single, so I've just been like trying to gain like all of the cuddly like bits that I possibly can on my own, and this sweater is definitely helping. Like I said, I don't know if they're still making these anymore, but if they are, I will list down below. I think I paid like $35 or $40 for it, but like I said, it was for a good cause, so I don't really feel bad about spending money on it. All right, friends, so that is everything that I loved in the month of October. I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff. I'm sure there's more that I could talk about, but I did just want to sit down and be very like candid and talk about the things that I really enjoyed this month. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really like doing favorites videos. Let me know down below something that brought you joy this month. It could be a person. I have a few of those this month as well. It can be an experience that you had. It can be a thing that brought you joy, a book that brought you joy, whatever it is, brought you joy and comfort. Let me know down below so I can try to get my hands on it. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.